Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm gonna give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hara Kakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, many blessings and salutations. Until the hopeful elect house of David, the Bayout, Dawadah, from these epistles are written for in these last days. Shalom to you, elect. This is a prophecy update. Just going into the mindset of these world leaders, really beginning over here in Babylon. They understand time's almost up, and the spirit is getting on certain of them, even those who are so-called high up in positions of these different administrations, especially here in Babylon. They're starting to acknowledge the truth of the matter, which goes into Revelation 12 and 12. That Esau knows that he have but a short time. So he's acknowledging that his time is almost up. And, this is not going to be a long lesson, but I just thought that, the mindset of these world leaders right now is acknowledging the time that they don't have. So without any further ado, let's get into it. I pray that this is edifying. So this is from RT News. Fair use YouTube, fair use, fair use, fair use. It says era of uncontested U.S. dominance over. This is the Vice President of the United States. Now, we understand that the banking families, they're the ones that actually rule these conflicts. They're actually the elite. President Trump and Vice President Vance and, all these different leaders across the world, whether it be Macron in France or President Xi in China or President Putin. They're really just figureheads. They are operating for the banking families. Okay, so what they say really, it holds some weight, but it's not everything because the banking families are the ones that's behind all this whole situation. But anyway, so the fact that he's acknowledging the so-called sitting vice president of the United States is acknowledging that they can't just run roughshod over the world like they used to. It's kind of a sign. And we around here, those of us that believe in Yahweh Shemal Shai, we take those signs and we broadcast it to the world through the biblical sense, right? It says the U.S. vice president has said rivals like China and Russia now challenge American power across key domains. So, again, going into the prophecy of Jeremiah 50. Okay, it's just so many things come to mind. They understand the time is almost up. The prophets are on the scene. They're prophesying the downfall and destruction of this kingdom. They know it and they sense it, and so therefore they're acting accordingly. Right? Doesn't mean that we're not under surveillance, because we are. It just means that they acknowledge that something of a higher power is actually in control. Okay, which I know it kills Esau to even fathom something above himself, but this has always been the case. Okay, this is Jeremiah 28:8, oldie but goodie. Start at 7. It says, nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears, and in thine ears of all the people, right? It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old, both prophesied against many countries, against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence, right? So, hey, the prophets have been on the scene for a very long time, hell, since the beginning, telling each and every kingdom that came before Babylon the Great that you're going to be destroyed, and most likely by who you're going to be destroyed by, or who you're going to be destroyed by. So this is nothing new. The newness comes in is the fact that you have the technology that you have now that is a lot more advanced now than it was back then. And also, this devil is the he's the King Koopa of you know what I'm saying, of all the, it's called Babylon the Great. This is the final boss. Okay. He's the last hurrah for the other nations. Okay. He's the last hurrah for all the other nations before Israel completely takes over, and then that's over, and it's a wrap. It's up for everything. Evil will be put out of the earth, okay, or at least it will be judged correctly in the earth, because evil will be here. Oh, well, you know what? I would say this: evil, as far as being practiced, will be judged correctly. I'll say that. Okay. Now Esau, the evil entity himself, will be put out of the earth. Okay. He won't be needed. Okay. But the other nations, they will be in the flesh. Okay. They won't have spiritual powers like the Israelites. Okay. So this is Jeremiah 28:8 again. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old have prophesied against both many countries. So like you have the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And this is no different. This is no different. And just because J.D. Vance is acknowledging literally the elephant in the room doesn't mean that we're going to get off our job. We're going to stop when Yahweh Shema Shah says stop. Okay. He's just acknowledging something that we've already been telling them that he was going to acknowledge, or that they already knew anyway. Okay. It says the era of Washington's uncontested global dominance has come to an end. With growing competition from Russia, China, and other nations, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance said on Friday, speaking to graduates at the Naval Academy of Annapolis, Maryland. Vance said that the U.S. leaders had assumed after the Cold War that American primacy was assured. Nor did we believe any foreign nation could possibly rise to compete with the United States of America. He stated, that's right. And so now it's a different time. Okay. Russia has been raised up. Okay. And that's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay. He can try. He's acknowledging what we've already been saying. Our elders and apostles that came before us, that are still out here. Okay. And their elders and apostles, they're just acknowledging through the scriptures what already is the reality. Okay. This is Ezekiel 38:1. It says, and the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, thy power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog. And it's like the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, right? So he's against Russia. Okay. He's against Edomites overall, period, because it says he hates Esau. Okay. Whether these Christians admit that or not, we don't give a damn, but that's the truth of the matter. That's in the Bible. Argue with the Lord. Okay. Anyway. So these Russians, as they purport themselves to be, they're just Edomites, but they're just Edomites from a different stock. And so the Lord is using them, all right, that manly, masculine Edomite spirit, and he's raised up in those Russians. And so now they're ready to come and conquer. Because, in the better nature of Esau, that's what he does. He conquers. OK, so he just raised up that old Edomite traditional spirit in them Russians, and they ready to kick shit. They ready to move rocks. You know what I'm saying? So, these Americans have gotten comfortable. OK, they've gotten comfortable. They were Edomites, too. OK, and so now it's time for war, and they're not ready for war. OK, and the Russians are ready for it. OK, verse 4 says, and I will turn thee back. And this is very key. Let's read that again. This is Ezekiel 38:4. It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws and bring thee forth. Whew. So the Lord said, I'm going to bring you back to that old Russian that old Soviet Union spirit, and I'm going to raise you up in these times to come against this American hegemony. Okay? It says, and all thine horses and horsemen, all right, which is all the other nations that are joined unto them, like South Africa, Brazil, Venezuela, all these other different countries that are joined on to Russia and for protection are now adding on to the hegemony of the Russian hegemony, which is not a real thing because, once this thing kicks off, Yahushua is going to be back. Anyway, it says, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. So they're going to have weapons of mass destruction, just like Russia does. It says, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So everyone that is going to be joined on to the Russians who are agreeing at first in silence, but now out loudly, they're challenging the American hegemony. Look at what's that damn? Not Korea. Thailand. Yeah, Thailand. Thailand be talking popular shit to America, right? That was unheard of. Okay? Back in 40, 50 years ago, hell, 20 years ago, that was unheard of. Now that's a norm. So America's hegemony is being, showcased as weak or coming out of power. And that is also a scripture in Jeremiah 50. It started 2. Jeremiah 50:2, it says, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. It's like it. Declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken. That's the spirit everybody in the world is right now. Okay. Babylon is taken. Baal is confounded. Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces. This is being broadcast across the world right now in different meetings. The banking families sense this. Okay, hell, they set it up. And right now, America is on its last legs. And even those who are in the government of America are starting to realize that, man, that's an uncomfortable truth. Okay. That's a very uncomfortable truth, but the truth nonetheless. Okay. Verse 3 says, for out of the north, here's where Russia comes in. See, these prophecies are awesome, right? It says, for out of the north, there cometh up a nation against thee, right? So this is the Lord bringing Russia into that forefront. Even Vice President J.D. Vance understands this. Okay. It says, for out of the north cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate. It says, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove and they shall depart both man and beast. How are they going to do that? They're going to use nuclear weaponry. Okay. And then you have to ask later on as it breaks down, why is this possible? How is this even possible? Didn't America make Russia tear down those walls in East Germany all those years back, symbolizing the fall of the Soviet Union? Wasn't that the fact? It was at the time, but now there's a new fact that has emerged, meaning that the Lord has raised up that spirit again. Okay. Jeremiah 50:21, it says, go up against the land of Merathaim. It says, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekod, waste and utterly destroy after them. Whew, saith the Lord Yahweh. It says, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. So the Lord commanded this. Okay. That spirit of the Pekodians, or how you put it, right? That's the Americans today. Or as we know in the Bible, the Babylonians. All right. Of the Babylonians of Babylon the Great, which is America today. Verse 22, it says, a sound of the battle is in the land and of great destruction. So the Lord is setting this fight up. He's the great promoter, right? You know, the great promoters of the yesteryear, right? Like Don King, okay? He's selling that fight, man. It's the rumble in the jungle, okay? Right? On one side, you got America and all its might behind it, the NATO, the EU, the beast, the horde that rides the beast, which is America, okay? The horde that commands many different countries and owns all the economies in the world. Everything's tied to it. So you're going to have to fight this horde that has everybody else under the thumb, right? And then on the other side, you have the Most High, Yahweh and his son, Yahweh Shai. And that's all you need. Anyway, but the Lord has great power because he created everything that you see. It says, verse 23, it says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a destination among the nations? Now, you see how it goes from 21, right, where it talks about the land of Merathaim, okay, and the inhabitants of Pekod. He's giving you a correlation here, right, through the prophet Jeremiah. He's giving you a correlation and to understanding that this horde that rides today is a horde that comes in many different forms. She's not just any one destructive kingdom. She's all of them. She's all of them. Okay. I'm just giving you the understanding through the biblical sense, how the Lord looks at this, right? He's saying that there's going to be war in this land, but he's also saying, how did they get put in this position? Well, because the pride that they have, right? It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth? And it's not America, the hammer of the whole earth. Do they not go around and bully people, okay, and then create coups and send economic hitmen, okay, to destroy the economies of these different countries, to steal the resources? Do they not do that? Is that not considered a hammer? Right? It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Right? It says, I have laid a snare for thee, right? That pride. He sent in, you know how America likes to send in economic hitmen. Well, the Lord sent in emotional advisors. He sent in Satan. He sent Satan in to trick you into taking the power, to absorbing yourself and acting like you are the Most High, only for Satan to come in and kick that chair right off from under your ass, or as they say, pull the rug. Okay. It says, I have laid a snare for thee. Oh, and it's like, and thou art also taken. You took the bait, you dumbass. You took the bait, Esau, because you were predictable. The so-called white man is predictable, man. If he can't reason with it, he'll try to destroy it. Well, even if he tries to reason with it, he's going to eventually try to destroy it. That's the devil. He was created to destroy, to kill, steal, and destroy in John 10 and 10. He was not created to bring the world peace. That's the opposite. Revelation 6 and 4 says he's going to take peace from the earth. Okay. So, you know, it says, verse 24 says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh. So the Lord is raising up countries like China and Russia to bring that pain, and you weren't ready. You're never going to be ready, right? Back in the article, it says Vance said that following the end of the Cold War, America enjoyed a mostly unchallenged command of the air, sea, space, and cyberspace. Now is being challenged. It says the vice president warned that the global landscape has shifted. The era of uncontested U.S. dominance is over. Today, we face serious threats in China, Russia, and other nations determined to beat us in every single domain. From spectrum to lower Earth orbit, to our supply chains, and even our communication infrastructure, he said. During the post-Cold War period, Washington began focusing on soft power and meddling in foreign countries' affairs, which they've been doing. They've been doing this. But that's the American way. It says, even when they had very little to do with a core American interest, Vance said, adding that the administration of President Donald Trump would be ending this decades-old approach to foreign policy. So they're trying to walk back World War III. But there ain't no way to walk this shit back because you're already in it. Okay? What did the Lord say? He said, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou were also taken. You in Charlotte's web, homie. You in Charlotte's web, and it's over. And she's about to pounce. Okay? Or he's about to pounce. Okay? So it's over. And they know it. That's the key part of this lesson. They know it too. Although they're trying their best to, to tamp it down, to act like nothing's really going on, nothing's wrong. Well, it's bullshit. We know it's not. We know it's bullshit. They know it's bullshit. This is Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, you brothers and sisters. Okay, your mindset is of the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. We look for new heavens. That's what it says in 2 Peter, right? We look for a new heavens and a new earth. We're in the heavens. We ain't thinking about this fucking earth. We just, our physical selves, our flesh are here to go to fucking work every fucking day. But our bodies are not our minds. Our minds are in the heavens. We're looking at the possibility, not even the possibility, the improbability of the Lord showing up and kicking ass and praying and forgetting names. Okay. Right. He's going to put Esau in his place. And that's the bottom line, because Yahweh says so. Anyway, it says Revelation 12:12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. All right, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So he knows his time is short. He's finna come after the Israelites. But he's also going to come after you regular peon, 2/3 ass niggas who got everything to say until things go south. And they going to go real south for you. Okay, 2/3 peon niggas are going to sense and feel, and then they're going to blame, right? Because that's what their master told them. All right, instead of taking accountability and saying, well, you know what, I was being a fucking bullet bag, loose brain, 2/3 weirdo. Okay, so the Lord is bringing judgment onto this earth, and I'm a part of the reason why. No, that's accountability like that. You can't pay a 2/3 to take. He's gonna say it's the Israelites' fault. I used to be an Israelite, so it's y'all fault. Y'all be on the street corners with these Bibles, right, Tariq? I'm doing more for my community, okay, about these issues than being on the corner with a Bible. You idiot. You don't understand. The higher power who created your dumb ass and your Majara spirit is going to melt you, okay, because you're not doing the righteous works of Yahweh Shema Shai, okay? And that's just the point. You don't have to agree. Neither do we care if you agree. But the thing is, you need to understand is that 2/3 and Edomites, okay, they're in harmony on one thing, and is hating the Israelites. And the Lord does not stand for that type of shit. Scripture says, you will not remove the Israelites into a corner anymore. That's it. That time has passed. Now it's your time to be put in a corner. Okay? With nuclear fire. Revelation 12:12 again, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. His time is short. He knows it. He knows it. And that's why he's acknowledging this. Okay? To his own cadets. It says Washington, back in the article, Washington now aims to put an end to the undefined missions and open-ended conflicts He said, Trump has indicated his desire to help bring an end to both the Israel-Hamas war and Gaza and the conflict in Ukraine. The United States has been the primary military sponsor of both West Jerusalem and Kyiv during both conflicts. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has set the U.S. president's plan to relocate the Palestinians of Gaza to surrounding countries as a precondition for ending the war. Trump has previously expressed his ambition to invest in the enclave and transform it into a resort after the hostilities conclude. So basically, genocide. Fair use, YouTube, fair use. That's what they're trying to do. Esau is going to be the devil, y'all. There's no way around it. The current U.S. administration has been pushing for a diplomatic resolution of the Ukrainian conflict and slowing its longtime military support for Kyiv. Additionally, Trump has moved to recoup funds spent on the aid through the joint mineral exploration or exportation deal signed with Ukraine, but did not provide Kyiv with a formal securities guarantee. So yeah, they understand. They understand, but they don't want to be told.
Get your tickets now for the Premier League Summer Series.
Slacker. They understand, but they don't want to be told about it. So therefore, they attack the messenger. That's the popular thing to do when you don't want to accept accountability. But as the scripture says, as the king goes, so goes his servant. So Esau tries to escape accountability. Okay? Like Hebrews 12 tells us, he tries to escape accountability. Oh, it's not my fault. Oh, no, I didn't do that. It was self-defense. Whenever an Edomite. Now, one thing I do agree with Tariq on, I agree with him on a few things, but I agree with him on this. They do use self-defense as a way to murder. Okay? I have to protect myself. And look, and that's what Lamech was saying, right? Back in the ancient days, Lamech, who's a progenitor, okay, all right, of his of Cain, same spirit, going around slaughtering Jake, man, justifying it by saying it was self-defense. Well, look, the Lord gonna have to the Lord's gonna use the self-defense claim too, right? The earth needs self-defense from you Edomites. So he's going to have to defend the earth against you Edomites because you're fucking destructive. So the Lord's going to lay your ass flat, all right, and then do away with you. Okay, in the biggest barbecue of all time. You Edomites always say y'all want to go to the cookout. Well, goddamn it, you're going to be invited and you're going to be the primary guest in that day, according to Obadiah. So with that, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shah, Ba'ashem Harakakadash, Shalom to you elect.